Good morning. My name is Elizabeth DeVries, and I am a psychic medium astrologer. I have just taken up the practice also of Vedic astrology, having been a Western astrologer for over 30 years and having written a column on Western astrology for a well-known arts and entertainment magazine, Venice, for 17 years. I love astrology. I look at it as an evolutionary expression of our soul and of the imprint that was uh, placed on our human form at the time of our birth, showing the challenges, the soul longings, why we chose the parents we chose, etc. But today I'm moving from astrology to intuition, although I do feel we also use our intuition when reading a chart, because we have to know when we look at that chart where to focus our energies. I'm going to move this over a bit. There we go. So last November, I have a friend that comes over, and once a year she tapes my premonitions, my vision of the year coming up. And I keep it and I go back to it and refer to it halfway through the year, which is now, and then at the end of the year to see what the accuracy was. And I did look at our United States election. I also looked at what were the prevailing energies at the time in our country, what would be our major issues, and what was coming up specifically for myself. So I will review all of that with you at the end of the year. In fact, I'll even post the 1 hour video that I did at that time. But today I thought what I would do, it's Monday, the 8th of July, 2024. I thought that I would draw a few cards for the week ahead. We've got a big week ahead astrologically. We're going to have the conjunction of Uranus and Mars in Taurus, conjunct a planet they call Algol, which is a very, I don't want to get everybody worried, but it's considered to be an extraordinarily negative planet. So when you get those three together, there's a combustibility that is, it's a fixed star, Algol, and it is kind of the negative aspects of the shadow self that it represents. So with Mars there, Mars being a very powerful, ego-related, sexual, passionate, wanting, willful energy, and putting that with Uranus, which is highly unpredictable and combustible, and also of the higher mind, the higher octave of Mercury. Those three together, you can imagine that there are going to be a lot of battles that occur this week, a lot of things that rise to the surface. We have Neptune that has gone stationary, so I'm assuming there are going to be a lot of secrets revealed, especially about those running for office. It's going to be kind of like the deceptive history of people is going to, the veils are going to start coming off. And this is kind of a timing that is in line with next week's Republican convention. So I would expect a lot of combustibility at that convention. Some people really coming in behind Trump, other people really angry and over the top in their accusations and in their anger. So you're going to hear some speeches that are going to be pretty off the wall. But what I wanted to do, these are what you call soul cards. These cards have no number on them, no meaning, no writing. They're strictly cards that you interpret through that individual experience of them in that moment. So I'm going to draw one for the coming week and see what comes up for us, what we can expect for this week. Wow. This does not surprise me at all. Look at this card. Look at the fiery words coming out of this person's mouth. This week is going to be about communication. It's going to be about speaking your mind. It's going to be about, there's going to be a lot of anger expressed, outrage, even a sense, like I know tomorrow there's supposed to be some meeting with the Democratic members of the Senate with Joe Biden. So I would think there's going to be some pretty hot conversation in that meeting and some rules laid down or some laws laid down or somebody showing their fire in a way that might be quite surprising to everybody else. And I think it might be Joe Biden because I think he's had enough. I was reading this morning that CNN, obviously we know Fox News, but the New York Times and CNN and several other stations, several other news outlets, all are owned by Trump contributors. So a lot of this stuff that you're seeing right now to ask Joe Biden to step down, like the New York Times, or looking at Twitter owned by Jeff Bezos, or they're all right-wing people. So we're going to see a lot of negative attacks on Joe Biden. Now, why do we intrinsically attack someone with that kind of an attitude? There's this person has got like a horn on their head. So it's negative talk, it's angry talk, it's fiery talk. That's what's going to come out this week a lot. I know we're tired of it all. I know we've all heard enough of this kind of verbiage, but we're going to hear a lot more over the next 2 weeks, especially with this Mars conjunct Uranus, because Uranus can just blast things out of control. So that's the first card I'm getting for this week. I'd like to ask a card specifically for Joe Biden and what he's going to face. What is the energy that's surrounding him this week? Okay, so this is the card of the wise elder. This is the card of Pythagoras. You can see he's got a bunch of theorems that he's pointing to here. He's very calm, he's very composed, he's explaining the logical sequence of events. He's nonplussed, he's not panicking, he's not angry, he's not over the top. He's actually in a state of great composure and great logic, and will explain, I presume by this card, will explain tomorrow to the senators how ludicrous it would be for him to step down at this time. I've also been seeing that a lot of the populace has been quite 91% behind him and in his court and getting really angry. It's actually reinforcing their will to stay behind him and have his back. Let's look at Trump this week. Okay, this is a card of somebody that's coming out of a cave, somebody that is, let me see if I can move it closer. Someone that is carrying a staff that feels they have to protect themselves. Behind themselves is the cave. That is the subconscious. So there's a lot not yet revealed. There's a lot that may emerge over the next couple of weeks regarding Mr. Trump. He's holding a staff. He's holding on to support himself, and he's not saying a lot. So I think he's actually got the philosophy, I'm just going to leave this up to the Democrats. They're already doing enough damage to their leader. I'm not going to say a lot. But eventually, as he steps out of that cave, by next week, I think he'll be quite different. I also know that there are a lot of the Jeffrey Epstein paperwork being released this week, and so I would assume that that shadowy cave behind him, there's a lot still to be exposed. Whether it is or not, I don't know. And let's just do this for the general energies of the week. Apart from the politicians, at our own soul, what would best be the way for us to get through this week in a manner that would give us sustenance, a sense of peace in our hearts, and a sense of equanimity? This is a card of not becoming embroiled in the drama. It's somebody leaning up against a wall. Let's see if I can show it to you better. And becoming the observer. This person is not saying anything. They're not full of opinions. They are, let me just watch all of this. Let me observe all of this. Let me step back from my own emotional trauma, my own drama, my own story. Let me step back into myself and just clearly be a silent observer. So there's a strong message for us here to stay within our center, to seek our, this person is standing and very still, and just, the right eye is the part that's most exposed, which is the eye of the observer. The left eye in our face is the eye of our intuitive being. It's the inner eye, the right eye being our eye of what's going on in the world. And this person is just standing in a state of quietness, looking at that and saying nothing. So I'd like to end there, and I'm going to try to do these shorter videos as often as I can to help us get through these hard times. So remember, when we're coming up through the profound transit, which is a huge one, starting on the 12th of July, going through and being sort of affecting us over the next couple of weeks, let's step back rather than stepping into the fire of argument and battling and accusation and projection. Let's step back into our true self and become the observer and try to project love, understanding, and a sense of wisdom. Thank you. God bless you. Any of you would like a reading with me, you can reach me at angelicmercy44 at gmail.com. Thank you. God be with you.